Okay, so hey y'all, it's Malika. I'm back at you again. And I'm happy to be here this morning. I think this is a great day. And I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit. If you hear that crazy noise outside, it is my landscapers. And you know, the association, they always do this shit when I am, oh, I said my first cut. Sorry, y'all. They always do this when it seems like I'm off, right? So anyway, today, depending on whenever you're seeing this video, I believe it's the 11th today, and I wanted to talk about something really about yesterday and the date and the significance, which was February the 10th. And let me start out by saying yesterday was a very, very difficult day for me, physically, mentally, spiritually. I mean, by the end of the day, I was like this. I was shaking so bad, and I couldn't, calm myself because I was convulsing so much from throwing up over and over and over and over again for hours. It didn't start like that. So I had to jump through a lot of, there's a situation that's going on now, been going on for a while that I've been, basically dealing with. And yesterday it kind of hit its peak, and prior to that, just a lot of stuff happened. I had ended up in the hospital. I had inflammation in my lungs. I just wasn't feeling good. I was feeling good spiritually, but I was not feeling good physically. So my body was already under extreme stress, and I'm trying to calm down from that. And then it just hit a peak. It just hit a peak, and I had to just deal with it because there was no. Some of us don't have the luxury of not dealing with things. It's like, oh, you don't have to deal with that right now. Just calm down, and you get back. Some of us don't have the luxury, of doing that in life. So I didn't have the luxury of doing that. And I had strong prayer with my teacher and my mentor the night before. And I was like, I'm just going to go to bed and I'm going to wake up. And ironically, things begin to move around. They begin to shift around after our prayer. But it was great hurdles that I had to jump through. And so my point is, while my body was under the extreme stress, it was more difficult for me to do it. But I got through it and I'm grateful. And I never realized that all day, while all of those things would go in place, it was like I was jumping in the spirit, out the spirit, in the spirit, out of the spirit, in different dimensions, right? And it was like I had been running a trap meet all day, and I could feel the physical effects of that. And I think my body just started to respond. But I never realized that yesterday was February 10th. So that's the backstory to that yesterday, right? Now, on February 10th, 2012 was my first day of dialysis. The first day that I started dialysis. Prior to starting dialysis, I had been in the hospital for probably, it was January that I went in there, but I know that the first day that I started was February 10th. And I know that my entire first hospital stay was 41 days. I stayed in the hospital 41 days. The first 5 of those 41 days was in the ICU. I was in critical condition and I was basically dying. And if I probably would have waited another day, I wouldn't have made it because my body was already full of poison. My organs were shutting down completely, and I could barely talk, by the time I got to the hospital. I had been to several hospitals prior. If y'all want to hear my story, I think I tell the story like 2 or 3 times, but I believe that the story about my diagnosis is on the page. I'm going to try to tag that or tag what I have so far because I'm going to be sharing more and more aspects of my life, which is why I got this channel back up. If you've been with me for a while, I had a channel and I was covering a certain story that brought a lot of attention and a lot of negativity. And I had to let that channel go and let the people go and trying to, distance myself from that. So anyway, I am back, right? And I still have like 60 something videos up here without the stories that I was covering. And I just wanted to show different aspects of my life because now I'm ready to talk about it. And on some of the platforms, it's not always the most convenient thing to talk about a lot of what goes on in my life on a Facebook or on Instagram. You know, it's just like everybody has a different level of people, different levels of things that are going on there. And so I think that YouTube would be sorry, y'all. I got my phone. I'm sorry. It's a lot going on, so I gotta answer the phone. So anyway, I think YouTube would be the perfect place for me to be able to share some of these other aspects of my life. And a big aspect, one that I suffer with, is chronic illness. Like it's a real thing in my life. And if you know me, if you came in on any chapter of my life, you know I probably things that have been attributed to my name have been like strength. She's very strong and she walks in power and she's smart in business and she's, whatever that they put, she's, what's that word? Resilient. Resiliency is one of my greatest qualities and I appreciate all of those things. But at the same time, I'm just a human being, right? Although I am a healer and I hold the light, when you are a healer and you hold the light, you also are exposed to every aspect of darkness because you have to understand that darkness in order to bring the light. And so suffering has been a large part of my life. I have suffered. Real talk. Now we getting real talk, y'all. Since I came out the womb, I can say that there has not been a time in my life that I have not had any form of suffering, right? And we'll get into some of those things. Forgive me, y'all. My nose is running. I should have got a tissue. Let me see what I got. Let me see what I got, y'all. I got something like a tissue. I'm getting ready to make a tissue. Let me show y'all, cause I'm not shy to the game. Look, I got a mask. I'm gonna cut the mask. This a D. Do it yourself. I'm teaching you a do it yourself or make a tissue. Well, you ain't got that and you don't feel like getting that. So you just cut the ends. I get these all the time, of course, because I'm always in a medical something, appointments and treatments, and that is my life. So I'm always somewhere where I'm grabbing 2 or 3 masks like a day. So don't worry, this is not my only mask. And then I got ones that are handmade and stuff like that. All right, look. Okay, and this is nice and thick. Oh, this is nice and thick too. All right, here we go. Now I got some lavender. Listen, this is my whole life. Okay, I got some lavender, and I just kind of inhale the lavender, and that bring a calm effect. I wanted to do my diffuser, but I didn't do that. This is just real life. So anyway, so I suffer with all of these things. I've always had a life of suffering. I've never been shy to share. I have shared many aspects of my life and been very transparent. And back to February 10th. So I realized it was February 10th. And now I've been on dialysis 10 years. 10 years, y'all. Let's do the math. Okay, here's my little calculator. Now I know and you know we can count. So that was 2012. So let's do it. 2012. No, I'm sorry. Wasn't the best at math. 2022 minus 2012 equals, can you see it? 10. 10 years. 10 years. And I didn't want to celebrate that day. Like, oh, like I didn't want to memorialize it because I don't believe in doing that. But I also wanted to celebrate it as in the aspect of like, I made it, like I'm here 10 years later. So I wanted to talk about a few things. I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about, but you know what? I said I'm going to get on here. I'm going to make videos. Whoever come, and let's just see what happened. I like that kind of organic growth. Now, let's just keep it real. Truth be told, people could buy followers. They could beg their family and friends to get on here, all kinds of things. But I want this to be organic growth. Real people who find me and who are encouraged by my story. It's all about me encouraging you and giving you inspiration, hope, and motivation. And if I can do that for just one person, I think that I've done a good job. So this is new for me too, y'all. Bear with me. Don't worry, I'm gonna get that ring light. I'm waiting for it. We're gonna have all the beautiful light. I might even get me a little background, honey. We gonna be doing some things up on the show, but I want it to be organic, just my real self. I didn't get dressed. Look, I just washed my hair, took a shower this morning, didn't even do nothing to it. This usually my side ponytail, my go-to style, right? And just threw on a little lip gloss. I ain't put no makeup on. You see, yes, I got these dark circles under my eye. That's kind of comes with the whole lupus thing, which I'll be talking about, more too, because I don't talk about that a lot. It's kind of difficult to choose when you got three diagnoses. So let's run through them. So in 2011, I was diagnosed with um, fourth stage, what was it, fifth stage? Fourth stage lupus nephritis, which is the type of lupus that attacks your kidneys. It had already attacked my kidneys. I didn't know. So I already was in like almost fifth stage. No, I think I was in fifth stage lupus and fourth stage kidney failure, right? Which is fifth stage, they say it's like the last stage. And so I was in end stage renal failure. Nothing could be done. And I had to go on dialysis. 2 years from being on dialysis, I had developed what's called, you might be familiar with it from Natalie Cole, who had pulmonary hypertension, which is not blood pressure. You hear high blood pressure, hypertension, you think blood pressure. Pulmonary hypertension is in the lungs. So it seems after I had been on dialysis, I developed this pulmonary hypertension in the lungs where the right side of my heart was enlarged now. And the left side of my heart had this pulmonary hypertension, and it kind of gets hard and it gets stuck for the blood to flow through and all of these issues. So I developed that. So it's like, if you ask me how I'm doing on any given day, I'm probably going to say, okay. But like, I really don't tell people how I'm doing because, A, I don't think they could handle how I'm doing. And like I said, dealing with those things and really all day, every day, managing the symptoms, my life is consumed by these illnesses. It really is. Although I still live my life to the best of my ability, I don't feel like I have the best quality of life, and I'm working towards that. I've always been working towards having a better quality of life so that I can get better and heal properly like other people that I know. And it's kind of like I don't know if dichotomy is the right word, or, it's like, how you going to be a healer and you a healer and you doing all these great things for people, but you're not well. So that used to bother me till I got a greater perspective on it. So like some of that stuff I'm gonna be talking about and just get into it. But as far as my own illness and being chronically ill, I never wanted to be the face of illness. I didn't want to be the sick girl. I didn't want to be known as the sick girl. I still don't want to be known as the sick girl, which is why I worked so hard towards wellness, towards deepening my relationship with my body, extending my holistic practice, being a holistic practitioner, dealing in plant medicine and making things with my hand, just healing myself first, working on that. And then I am able to, heal others, right? In various ways. Again, not just in the body, the physicality, which is what suffers the most for me. But some people have like a good physical, but they're sick, but they have a sick mental, right? Or they have a sick emotional. And I don't want to say blessed, that's the wrong word, fortunate. I've been fortunate that I've had a very strong, before this happened, I had a very strong, solid spiritual foundation, right? And I had a strong mental and I had a strong emotional. So I knew I enabled strong emotional in terms of being able to manage my emotions, understanding them. So those are some of the things that kind of helped me get through. So now when I look 10 years back, that's what I want to say. Maybe we should do like a 10-year thing. Like, okay, I don't have 10 things, but we just talk and see what happens, right? But those are some of the things that helped me be strong. And I want to show y'all something before I forget. Okay, so this year alone, I wrote 5 books. 2 of them I haven't released yet. Okay, these are some of the books I wrote, y'all. I wanted to show you. Um, I speak affirmations. This is my affirmations book that I wrote. It's just a 30-day journey. Like you can do 30 days of it. And It's just affirmations, for everyday people, because I thought some of these affirmations were whack and they just were so above my head. Like, I couldn't believe that. So I know everyday people wasn't believing that. But anyway, it's a whole story attached to that. And so I wrote this book. I'm gonna put my it's in every video, I believe, my link, which is ispeakaffirmations.com. And you can get any of my affirmations book. Now, this is the one that's really important to me that I wanted to talk about today. And I wrote one specifically. Remember, I said I didn't want to be that face of the sick girl. I didn't want to be their advocate. But I ended up doing and being just that. So I wrote a chronic illness disability book where you see the dis is crossed off, because I believe we don't have a disability. We just have a special ability, like a superpower. And this is an affirmation journal, right? And I share my own personal stories in here. So if you don't get it for nothing, but just getting it for that. And I talk about different areas, that you deal with chronic illness that really affect you, and that it's hard to express. But you can write them, you can express them to yourself or to somebody that you love. And so this has journal pages in it, it has affirmations in it, and it has my personal stories in it, right? So that's my affirmation journal. It's 162 pages. This is not lightweight, and it's just really, really good. And you can get this off my site as well. And all of these books are available on Amazon too. Some of y'all like Amazon. You can order it from Amazon, or you can order it from my site. I used to sell them. No, not I used to sell them. I just sold all out of them. I've sold all out of the ones that I have. I was autographing them when they first came out for people, and that's what I did. So, but if you really want to get an autograph copy, you can do that. And so let me go back to, I'm sorry, I Speaks. So I Speak is in paperback, and let me get it. I'm above my desk. And in hardcover. I got it in hardcover too. Right? And these are the ones I signed. And it's just good to have a hardcover. And look, I got a little picture on the back. I got a little picture on the back. So, it's me, y'all. Some people lie and shit. And they're like, oh, I'm an author, and they ain't wrote a damn thing. But I'm a 33-time author. I've written 33. Might be 37. I keep saying 33. I think it was the 33 before these ones that I wrote. But anyway, 4 of them are published on, it gotta be 33, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 37 books. But 4 of them are published on Amazon. The first book I wrote that was on Amazon, which was The Real Woman's Guide to an Almost Perfect Life, and then the I Speaks book. Now let me get back to the disability affirmation. Oh, sorry, y'all. It was this one, the affirmation journal. And with the journal, I got a companion workbook. Now, with the workbook, you can just go straight and write out your feelings. The workbook doesn't have the affirmations in it. I'm sorry. Yes, the workbook. The workbook, let me slow down. The workbook doesn't have the affirmations or the stories, but because sometimes people don't like to write in their book. So I made another specific little companion workbook. And I thought y'all would like that. I was going to do it at the end, but these are just my sample copies. So anyway, here you go. That's that. All right, let's get some coffee. I'm coming off of coffee. I said for 2022, I was coming off of coffee. I usually do, all my juices and everything. And if you want to join me in the I got a group on Facebook, I Speak Affirmations group, and we just talk about everything, affirmations, manifestations, or juicing, how to clear your mind. It's just a really good group. It's small but powerful, okay? Because I didn't want all them numbers. We put thousands of people in there, and then we're not communicating and talking with people. So I'll put that inside of the description as well. All right, let's get to the things. Okay, so 10 years. 10 years I've been on dialysis. So if I would interview myself, I would say, Malika, what would you say about dialysis? I guess that would be. And I would say, Malika, people, dialysis is hell. It's hell. I would start with it's hell. I know you thought I was going to say something else, but excuse me, it's hell. It's hell. It's hell. When I first started, First of all, I was probably the youngest. Everybody that was in dialysis was like 65 or older. I was in my mid 30s, and I look young and everything. Now I'm almost 50. That would be a good shot. But anyway, and so I got them good genetics. And so I looked real young, and I was a young type feeling person. And so I was like, all of these old people in here and me. And so there was no information, no tools, no videos, no nothing about like younger people being on dialysis. That's another thing I'm gonna do is make a comic book called Dialysis Girl. It's kind of like in my head. And it's gonna be funny though, because I'm funny. That's my other part. If you don't know now, then you will know. I'm funny. That's the other part of me, right? So um, it was hell. It was no tools, no information. And also, it wasn't any information about being a brown girl on dialysis. Although most of the people in the dialysis centers are brown and black people. And I was like, wow, this is really so it was no information. I was just feeling my way through it, right? I didn't know what to expect. I want to shout out Leah. There was a girl. I was at Overlook Hospital in Summit, New Jersey, and there was a nurse named Leah. And Leah gave me my first dialysis treatment. If you ever see this, shout out to Leah. And I was scared. And I was like, is it gonna hurt? Like, like I didn't know what to really ask, but she assured me and calmed me down and kind of talked me through it and told me why she got into it. I remember she said because her uncle had dialysis and passed away from it, and that's why she got into it. And so, shout out to Leah. So, I had my first dialysis treatment in the hospital, and the same day I had my first chemo treatment. I fell out the bed. I stayed there for like an hour because the nurses were like, I forgot what was the rounding situation. I believe it was a weekend, and I just cried. I was so humiliated. I think I peed on myself. Yeah, it was rough. And so I saw a video. I came across this video on YouTube. I don't know if it's still out there. It was on YouTube, and it was about this nurse, and she was saying how dialysis was the worst. She was like giving the insides of it, and she was like, she was saying wherever she was, it was dirty, and they were reusing the bag, the machines, or something about reuse. I remember now they don't do that, and they can't do that. But she was also saying it's the most um help me, spirit. I just seen a card. I had a card, invite help. And it says, invite the divine to pursue you seriously. Just say, I'm finally ready, God, pursue me. And so it reminded me to just stop, spirit, just help me. Help me to communicate what I want to say. So, we were talking about what, Leah? So Leah was there, and I didn't know, quite how it was gonna be, and she assured me that it was gonna be okay. And so then the lady with the on YouTube was saying it was the most inhumane process that people could go through. And I was like, wow, I wonder what's so inhumane about it. And so I remember going through so many things, like my blood pressure before I understood what's going on would drop so low. I would start sweating. I would start throwing up. Then my blood pressure would go real high, almost to stroke level. I believe. Now they say I never had a stroke. There was never any um, medical, I guess, science or proof that I did. However, my blood pressure was going up so high that I can't remember what side. Let's see, because if I smile, I can see this side. You see how my smile kind of doesn't go whole. It's like this whole left side, right side is like dead, like the nerves, like nothing doesn't move. Only this side. See? Now I can make myself now with practice uh, do the whole smile, but in actuality, it doesn't really do that, right? So anyway, I went through that. I used to get so cold, chills. I used to get chills so bad, and they take you in a place and it's so cold. And I would have a blanket. And then afterwards, from the day that I had it till now it's not so bad. But I used to just feel like it was say, how do you feel? Like people think that you go to dialysis and somehow, and people would say to me, like, don't you feel better? And I was like, better? It's not to make you feel better. It's just to keep you living a little bit longer. So it's like, if I don't go and I don't get hooked up to that machine every other day, then my body fills up with poisons and toxins and I could die. So if I skip days or I miss days or I don't go, I just say, oh, I want to go to Puerto Rico for a week. No, I probably won't be here. You got about, truthfully, I'm being honest. This is the truth, about 4 good days. Just about 4 or 5 good days. But I know other people who stopped dialysis and they lasted like maybe 29 days. And then on the 29th day, they got deathly ill. Or on the 6th day, they left out of here. But, that's a whole nother process, a whole nother video. So anyway, I would always feel like, although I never been hit by a truck, like I've been hit by a truck. Like my head would be hurting so much out of just control hurting. My eyesight would be like I could barely see. My body would be hurting from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. Either I'd have diarrhea or vomiting, or when I used to urinate a lot, urination, or when I was still getting my cycle. That's another thing. My cycle stopped like almost I think I got, when you go to the doctor and they say, when the last time you have your cycle, I say February 12th, 2012, right? Like 2 days at, like, it stopped. And I've never had a cycle since then. But that was part chemo and part the dialysis and part. So I've been postmenopausal for a long time. Right. So that's another thing I can talk to you ladies about. Like, I went through menopause early, right? So anyway, that used to happen to me and I didn't know about fluid changes and body shifts. And I was a lot heavier then. And then I lost, like, boom, like 100 pounds really quickly. And I had to deal with this right here. You see this? Can you see? I'm going to put a trigger thing up there, y'all, in case some of y'all are squeamish. But this is what they call my dialysis port. And see how it gets bigger? It gets bigger and bigger. Everybody always thinks it's something inserted into your arm, but it's not. It's what's called a fistula. Now, some people do have a graft, which is in their arm, but I have a fistula, which is when they tie the vein and the artery together. And so every day when I go to dialysis, every other day, they put these 15 or 16-inch needles in my arm. And that's how they filter out the blood. They take out all of the blood out of my body and they clean it through the machine and they put all of the blood back in my body. So the doctor said it's equivalent to you running on a treadmill for 4 hours. And so imagine how you would feel if you ran on a treadmill for 4 hours. You would be tired, you would be drained. I'm going to show y'all on a different video the beginning, like before, how I am when I go. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And how I am when I come out. And it's very different from person to person. I know some people that just started dialysis, been on like 2 years, and you can ask them, a young lady who I mentor, and you're like, how you feel? And she's like, I feel fine. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never felt fine. And I felt better fine, I guess, in the earlier years. But after 10 years and the disease's progression, like, I still feel terrible. And so it's very difficult to communicate that to a person when they say, how do you feel? And they tell you, you got to be positive, think positive, talk positive. And I'm all for that. But how I feel does not change. So most of the time you ask me how I feel. No, I'm not lying, but I'm gonna say okay. I'm all right. Cause yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. But what I really want to say, you probably wouldn't be able to handle. And it's like people want to take away. This is for people who deal with people with chronic illness in their life. I hope that this can help you, right? Someone in your life, you think that it's like taking 2 Tylenol, waking up in the morning, they're gonna feel better. But it's not like that at all. With chronic illness, there's no better. There's levels to feeling okay, but there's no better. And that's what you need to realize as the outside person, there is no better. So how do you comfort, or how do you bring encouragement, or how do you bring motivation to the person there's no better for, you know? And a lot of times when y'all say things like that, like, oh, you'll feel better, or just lay down, or you'll feel, it's very, I don't know. It's almost offensive sometimes. I know what you're saying, and I know you don't have the right answer sometimes. Or that's why you should educate yourself. About the people that's in your life, especially if they deal with some type of illness. You need to educate yourself. I had to educate myself so that I could become the best advocate for me. So I know that if nobody, and there've been times where nobody. Let me tell you something. When I first had my first hospital visit, I think my mom went to one chemotherapy treatment with me and never ever again. Nobody ever went after that. She was the only one who went. And my mom is the type like she can't really deal with stuff like that. Although she's ill herself, which is crazy, but she couldn't really. But I can understand, from a mother perspective, she probably couldn't take her child being sick. Even to this day, we don't discuss it. Like she doesn't say, she might say, "Are you still on that dialysis?" I'm like, "Yeah, mom, still on dialysis." "Oh, okay. Well, long as you feeling better from," I'm like, there's never no feeling better. So we've never been able to have like a conversation, maybe once, and I really expressed to her how I feel. But it was only the guys that I could express how I felt if she told me how she felt. You understand? It wasn't like really an authentic experience. It was like, in order for me to, like, she gave me something personal and vulnerable about her. And so then I was like, okay, this is my chance. I could share something about me. Maybe she'll understand. But she didn't. And that's not neither here nor there. But I told you I'm gonna tell you the real of my life, right? And that's it. So I haven't had a lot of support. And the people that were in my life, like my family members, a few of them came when I was first in the hospital, but they didn't really understand, and they still don't really understand. People think still in their mind like, I'm gonna get better. I don't think they really understand that I'm gonna eventually die from this, not from this, but with this. I don't know the right proper way to say it, but that is it. The complications of it. Most nobody dies from kidney disease. That's really the truth. It's from a complication of it. Usually your heart, because it puts a lot of stressors on your heart. That's what I did not know. I would have took other precautions had I known that. But it does so much damage and stress to your heart. Most people that die from something, some heart related cardiac issue. And so that happened, and I didn't really have a support, so I didn't really know how to help people to be in my life the way they needed to be. So that took a while, and it's just kind of been like that. Like I've got a few people I can really count on. My uncle is one. You will always hear me talk about him because he's been a part of my life, obviously since I've been alive, but my adult life like the whole time, right? It's been like my best friend, my uncle, my dad, my whatever I needed him to be. And my children, who one of them who lives with me now, my oldest, has been a large part of the whole process because she's seen everything. She's been to the hospital visits. She was the one who took me up there the first time when I got her and my cousin Tanya when I first got diagnosed. Stayed with me, missed school that next day. I can't remember if she missed or she went, but I know they were there like until the wee hours of the night, and it was a blizzard. And so she's been with me. She knows. She's the one like that would know everything, that sees me throw up, have diarrhea, can't eat, can't take medicine. Been in the hospital so many times, half the times they wouldn't even let her be with me. But before she had the baby, she would come, she would sit. In so many emergency rooms you couldn't even imagine. So many blood transfusions. One time she was trying to be a candidate for me to get a kidney transplant. That's a whole nother story. No, I'm not a candidate, but I was. But I'll tell you that in another video. So anyway, they told her that first they told her that she was too small, that her BMI was too low. And then they said because she hadn't had children yet, and she could or might develop problems, right? Because we didn't quite know if lupus was hereditary. Um, that she couldn't donate a kidney. So she was like a perfect match, everything like that. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, 9, knows everything. I'm gonna get her on here. We're gonna have a talk. And my youngest daughter, Kamaya, I was kind of sheltering her because she was kind of like my mom, like, oh no, I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me about it. Don't talk like that, mom. So I never could really express myself to her about the illness, because it was like every time I would, she would almost take the power away from me. But I'm not blaming her, because no one can take the power away from you, but she didn't want to talk about it. So then therefore I didn't share about it. And I started to later. I started to say, I know you don't want to hear about it, but I'm going to tell you about it. You have to know about it. And then after many years of therapy, one of my therapists was like, look, you can't shelter her. It's not fair that the oldest one, can have the information, but you're actually enabling her by not giving her the information. So then I was like, you know what? You're right. So this is the deal, y'all. Listen, if something should happen to me, my life insurance is in my middle drawer. Da 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 da. This is what I want. I couldn't talk like that in the beginning. Like I had I don't know, not a fear of death, but I just didn't want to talk about it. I didn't like it. I never liked it, and that was what it was. So now, as years have come and I've kind of embraced what is going on with me and have some acceptance with it, you have to come to that point of acceptance too. Like we come and we're gonna have to leave, and unfortunately, some of us are gonna have to leave before others, and this is what it is. So I was able to talk about that after years. It's still a struggle to communicate how I feel, which is why I'm up here, because it's just so hard to say, because like sometimes I'm very intuitive, and whatever people say, psychic abilities or prophetic abilities or all of those. I have those abilities. And so I can see very well, into other realms, and see people and things and see what they're thinking, and sometimes hear the conversations, and I just be looking, and I'd be like, no, I can't do it. Like it's almost like I know who to do it with and who not. And then just men is a whole nother thing. Like I have been divorced 12 years now from my ex-husband, the children's father, who we were divorced at the beginning when I got sick. But, he wanted to come back and play the hero. And that's what he is, Captain Save Help. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so we had a little bit of time that I don't know if we were together or not together, but that he had moved back into the house to take care of the kids in the beginning when I got chemo. And I forgot what my point was with that whole thing. It's gonna come back. But anyway, he was there for a little while, and yeah, I don't know my point. So that I probably wasn't even supposed to bring that up. See? Mm. Anyway, it has been very difficult. It has been very hard, and I don't know how I have survived it. And I see other people, that's another thing to trigger. So I see other people and they're dealing with this, but I'm like, okay, I'm dealing with this and that and that and that. It's like if I was just dealing with kidney disease, it would probably be a little bit better. But because I'm dealing with lupus, active lupus, and because I'm dealing with heart failure, and because I'm dealing with pulmonary hypertension, and because I'm surprised that I'm just on here. See, we asked for help. Because by this time I'd be out of breath, which is another reason why I wasn't really getting on camera, because I felt like I looked different. And now I remember what it was. I felt like I looked different, and my self confidence. Okay, so let me go back to what it was before I forget. So even with the men in your life, like if they come into your life, they want to automatically fix you. So my point was, I haven't had any active friends or companions since my divorce, not nobody's, and that's been 12 years. And I'm not even lying. Like I've talked to people and this and that, but I found like when I begin to disclose to them, or when I feel comfortable enough to tell them what is going on with me, they want to fix me. Like, oh, well, you should go to this healer or this doctor. They can fix you, and they can, it's like I still feel unaccepted. Like you don't accept me. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You can't embrace it. They can't even talk about it. They just want to fix me. So usually, I'm either self-sabotage it where I don't even have to deal with it, or I just make them have to go away in some way, or something will happen. But that has been my experience, right? So it's been lonely too. I'm not gonna lie, it's been lonely too. Like I would like a companion, but I know I'm not gonna cry either. I know that my life is very complex. It's very complex, and it has a lot of, it would have to be a special type of individual, because I have a lot of ins and outs in my life that you just would have to understand. right? There's a lot of things that happen in my life from day to day that I can't explain, like what happened to me yesterday. I wrote like 3 posts about it today. Erase, 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 because I can't really explain it. And so that's why I really want to be on here, because I want to document what's going on with me. Now, this is the other thing. I never wanted to document it because everybody that I knew to document it, like what was going on with their illness, they died. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like they would be documenting for 3 years, then you would get a post and it would be like, rest in peace to Catherine. She would have wanted her followers to know. I'm like, oh hell no. I'm not. And then also I know that I can't leave here. You can't. None of us can't until we fulfill our purpose. So I'm like, oh shit. I feel like I have fulfilled my like, am I getting closer to the light? I just be thinking like that. These are real things that you deal with being chronically ill. This is facts, y'all. And this is the stuff I wanted to share. I'm glad there's nobody here. And I'm glad this is not live because I get nervous when I'm live and I get distracted with all the comments and all of that. So I like to do it like this where I can just share and then upload and then yeah. But y'all gotta talk back to me. Don't leave me out here hanging like say, girl, I liked it. Keep talking. I hate it because y'all could. Another reason why I had to get off YouTube, they could be just some little trolly trolls, and so I'm really interested in knowing how it came across, how y'all felt about it, and if you wanted me to share more, about these types of things. I don't even know what I'm gonna name this. I want to name it something good so that y'all can come and listen. But yeah, it's just been hell. It's been a lot. I haven't had a lot of support. I've had a lot of trouble finding my way through the darkness to the light. But one thing that has kept me has been, so we leave on a positive note, has been, writing, being an author. I never set out to be an author when I wrote my first book. I used to write all the time. From little girl, people can tell you in school, I was a nerdy nerd. I always got bullied. And I always felt invisible, which I talk about in my autobiography. I got 4 chapters of it on the page so you can listen to it. It's called I Was Here. And I called it I Was Here because most of my life I felt invisible. So I wanted the world to know that I was here, that I left an imprint, an impact on this world. That's what I want. They ask you the question, what would you want to leave as your I want people to know that I was here. I do. I was here. And now I tried my best. I gave it my best despite my circumstances that have been, like I said, very, very challenging. I've had a very, very challenging life, is full of suffering, but I have still tried to be the best person that I could be, the best mother, the best grandmother, the best sister, to be the friend. I haven't always been that. So I apologize if I haven't. It's just I've had a very difficult life, but I've tried to navigate it the best that I could with the tools that I've had. And I never stopped doing my purpose. My purpose has always been to women who look like me, who are me. I've always tried to uplift women, not tried. I've always uplifted women. I have always tried to be a light, a guide, a mentor, a teacher, a friend. I believe I've done that very well. I love doing that. I would do it for free, for money, for whatever. I've done it for free without money before I even knew that you could charge money or you could do. I was doing it for free, right? And my writing. So I've been writing since about first grade. First grade, when I learned how to read, I used to sit in my book and read and read and read, which that's what made me the ultimate nerd. Because I would read and read and read. And I had a big, large library before I moved here to North Carolina. But unfortunately, something happened. I can't remember, but all my stuff was in storage and I lost the storage. That was devastating. I've been through a lot of little devastating situations like that where, you can't get those things back. And so I just would write. I would write my feelings, whether it be on social media or, oh my gosh, tons and tons of journal. I'm just starting to throw them away now, but journals and different things. And then some people, really, my uncle was the first one. He was like, "Why don't you write a book?" And I was like, "Write a book? I ain't write no book. Like what I have to say to a book?" And then I went through a divorce, and that was a book. But I didn't write about the divorce. I was just trying to process my feelings, and I wrote about identity and all. That book was 30 books. That was the Real Woman's Guide, excuse me, to an Almost Perfect Life. Um, and I had a lot in that book. I'm going to actually take that book apart and make it a curriculum for the mentoring program that I do now. I do two programs now. I do a herbalist mentoring program, and I do also just a regular women's mentoring program. And so yeah, so writing has helped me, speaking to women, talking to women, being with them, doing all the stuff that I do. If y'all know me in my real life, like I say, I'm Malika and I run real businesses in real life. This is so true. And I've helped hundreds of people with businesses and different things. But in me, myself, also, I've lost count, y'all, maybe 27 businesses since 1992, nonprofits and for profits. And let me see, let's run it down. Short version. So I'm an author, a keynote speaker, a women's advocate, a global lupus advocate, right? And a mentor, a teacher. I've had several programs all over the world for girls, disadvantaged girls ages 12 to 18. Those seem to be my age groups, right? 12 to 18. But really, the 18s to the maybe 30s, those seem to be the largest of population of women that I speak to and that I help. And just with my books, I try to use any of my platforms, to speak to women. And I also have a company, several companies, but the one that I'm most involved with now is Her Balance Naturals, which is a wellness company for women of color. So I do different things. Like, I'll show you some of the stuff right now. Like, I make different wellness products. All of these are just from the ancestors, from the heavens, who give me the formulas and everything like this. So like I do, these are right here. These are bath potions. So this was higher. This one is about manifestation. This is higher. This one is a self-love bath potion. I make the ancestral sage, how my tribe made it. What else do I do? Oh, let me show you. Uh, so here's the company. Here's a pillow. Here's our Her Balance Naturals pillows that we sell, all kinds of stuff. I'm into plant medicine, so you see right now I got some elderberry, chamomile, lavender. I keep these on deck. I had some hibiscus over here. But people come to me for different things. I'll just say that because we're on YouTube, right? For different things, and I help to assist them with different things. Right now, I'm working on an herbal guide that is going to be like a 3-part comprehensive herbal guide. It'll give you some of the best Chinese, African, and Caribbean herbs known to man. I'm also going to give you a special section on the big C. Uh, 19, and I'm going to give you some of my best juicing recipes, juicing protocols for things like headache, anxiety and depression, energy, immunity, and just some other special different things like that. So I'm excited about life. Let me show you something else. All this little stuff on my desk. So you see what this says? I kind of live by this. It says, work hard, be kind, and stay humble. I think that would sum me up. I'm a hard worker. I try to stay kind and have empathy and compassion for everyone, and definitely stay humble, because I could be a lot of different shades of Malika, but I always stay humble, because one thing I know, and I was taught by one of my mentors, you're going to go up, but be careful how you treat people on your way up, because if you should have to come back down, you will see those same people. So I always remain humble and I never make it about me. And I like to say I'm the type of teacher or mentor, like, I don't want to create a lot of Malikas. You see a lot of leaders and they just want to make a lot of clones of themselves, right? And they get into the people worship and got people worshiping them and all of that. No, I want you to be the best version. I want you to be the best version of yourself, the best version that you can be of yourself, no matter what that looks like, right? Because even me right now, like on my teeth, I know I need a teeth whitening. Look, I drink coffee every day. I know my teeth are not even straight. I'm gonna tell you a story about that. My teeth are not straight because when I was in a very abusive relationship, the abuser that I had literally, boom, and I talked about this in my domestic violence video, but knocked these two teeth literally down my throat. They were down my throat, and the hospital couldn't get them out of my throat. And the dentist had to literally pull them back out of my throat. And when they pulled everything forward, it was not the same. Okay. And my mom, that was still when I was like late teenage years. But before that, just never took me to the dentist. I begged for braces and I didn't get them, and that was that. So by the time I got an adult, I had been so used to living with these teeth. I tried a couple times to do the braces thing and it just never worked. So that's the story of my mouth. If it would be one thing that I could change, or that if I came into the money or whatever, they could just do it real fast, I would probably fix my mouth. Now, I smile regardless. Every picture, mirror the mouth thing, right? So let's try. Uh, get the smile right. But anyway, I'm always smiling in pictures and I don't let the circumstances dictate, what I'm called to do. I still get out here and do it. I still feel a little funny. I didn't even talk to y'all about that, about the way that I look, because the chemotherapy had turned me like I was always dark chocolate. I'm not ashamed of that. But it kind of gave me some discoloration. And when you having dialysis, like all these circulation issues, every day pulling blood out, putting blood in, you could say like I'm like about three different colors. And my face just happened to be darker than everything else. And if I stay here too long, all of the blood's gonna flow to my feet, and it's just a mess, But those are the things I'm gonna be sharing with you. I hope y'all enjoy. Oh, we have 51 minutes, so I hope y'all enjoyed what I bought today. It was totally from spirit. I planned to get on, but I didn't really know what I was going to say. I was like, I'm going to talk about February. Sorry, I'm doing that with my eyebrows. They get stuck. That's another thing. All right, let me see. I got one thing. Let me leave, because I got to leave y'all cute. Because the end, I believe the last picture, the last little frame is the one they take. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, sir. Hey. All right. So anyway, I had a ball with y'all today. I'm gonna try to do 1 to 2 videos a week, but I'm just waiting on my lights and all stuff like that. And I don't really get on if I don't got nothing to say. But I got a whole lot to say because I've been holding it in for so many years that I'm gonna say it. So anyway, thank y'all. Please, whatever they say, I don't want to be begging. I don't like that whole like, subscribe, follow, just if you find it in your heart. So please share the video, and if you could subscribe, because I can't even go live, I think, until we get 1,000 subscribers. So we only need like 900 more. No, we might need 850, whatever. We need a lot of people so that I could go live with y'all. But until then, I'm going to keep doing this. All right. So I love y'all and have an excellent day.